We pulled the old vineyard out. It's about 25 years old back in August of last year, and we windrowed all the vines here along the railroad tracks and really let them thoroughly dried out so we could do our ground preparation over here in the block, which consisted of deep ripping, getting rid of all the roots that we can find, any of the debris that was underground. Before the ripping, we had put down a compost mix so we can incorporate that into the soil as well. It's part of our preparation, and did the ripping down to 4 feet. Put in the irrigation system, and obviously part of the trellis system to this point, which is going to be set up for GDC, Geneva double curtain, and that's with the heavy duty stakes here. We're going all metal, so there's going to be a 48-inch crossarm mounted to this with braces, and also to the end post. And the center rods here will have another wire, so when we bring these vines up, we can train them up here and train them along this wire, and then turn them to make nice cordons out to our other wires. We're pulling away from using wood products or treated wood products, mainly because of the disposal problems, and even if it's treated, it still rots. So this trellis system is designed for all steel, heavy duty steel. This is, for example, the 4-pound rail, what they call a 4-pound rail iron, 4 pounds per foot, and they're 8 foot long, so there's about 32 pounds of steel right here with a spade down below. And again, it's going to have a 4-foot crossarm mounted to this, where the vines will be into a split canopy. The client would like to have that split canopy to match the rest of his vineyard back there, and we know with this ground that it's highly productive. It can tolerate that kind of a trellis system, and it is fine. You know, we will do what the client has asked us to do, so we'll continue with that tradition. The drip system is in place, and we actually have 2 drippers, 2 half-gallon drippers on the wire, but because the vines are very small, we'll take the dripper the furthest away from the vine that's going to be planted, and actually run a spaghetti tube. It's called a spaghetti tube, 1/4-inch tube, and just bring it down so when the water comes on, this dripper is now functioning over here for a period of time, maybe 4 or 5 months, to make sure that this vine actually is getting water, plus this dripper here, kind of insurance just to make sure that we're getting water, because we definitely don't want to leave a dripper here for the long term, because you can create other problems like rot within the vine. And then they encourage growers to always have their drippers spaced away from their vines, encourage the roots to move away from the trunks, search out in that space, because we know underground the drippers over time make a huge basketball shaped area of wetted soil. It looks, or an onion shape, basketball shape, whatever you want to use. So that's the whole idea, is that we don't want to have a saturated position here 100% of the time through the whole life of the vine. So again, spaghetti tube is just a temporary tube that's there, and we'll take it off before the end of the growing season this year and allow those vines to have space to grow out. But while they're finishing up digging the holes here in preparation for putting the new plants in the ground, one of the things I want to mention that I feel is always very important is that when we do dig the holes, we want to make sure the holes are deep enough, the soil is friable, loose, not compacted hard, and that we have actually got the hole deep enough, but also that they have dug very close to either the training rod, the training stake, the T-post, or whatever the vine is actually going to be trained up to. And you can see that even with the planting, they're planting that vine as close to this rod as possible. They're not putting it out here, they're not putting it everywhere. I know some people put in the vines and then they come back and put the trellis system in, but that means the vine could be over here and the trellis is over there, and sometimes that really doesn't work out too well in the long run. Because if we end up using some mechanical equipment underneath the trellis wires here, one thing we don't want to have to do is worry about trunks and parts of the vines that are too far away and which can get damaged.